moaning like a geezer.
I don't know why I did that, but why not? Why not? Throw a little of this in there too. Woo! Let's go! Now let's get fired up and let's go. It's time for Graybeard Studio. You're watching episode number 86. It's unfathomable to me. We've been doing it this long, but here we are. We're going to try something a little different today. We're going to leave and let you guys entertain yourselves. So no, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to watch actually some process videos by the great John Buscema and Bill Sienkiewicz as well. And just kind of talk about them, see what we can see, maybe get a little inspiration. I'm probably going to sketch something because that's just kind of what I do. But no pressure on the rest of the hosts today. But it should be interesting because especially the Sienkiewicz one is kind of weird, and he does a lot of strange and unique things that a lot of us don't think of doing. So that should be interesting. And Buscema, of course, is Buscema, so straightforward drawing, but still, it's it's John doing John. So that should be fun. Anyway, let's get this thing rolling. Here's David Williams. Hey, David.
Yeah, if someone held a gun to my mom's head and they told me to spell Sienkiewicz, I would just look my mom in the eyes and say, "I love you," and I'll see you on the other side.
Exactly. Well, I had to check the spelling so many times just doing the promo for the show.
Like lawless.
I've got it now. I've got it. I know how to spell it. So
like lawless.
You mean the corrected lawless? Yes, I did correct that. But here's a guy who needs some correction most of the time. It's Gary Martin. Hey, Gary. What's your I did not know they made corn dog puppets, but ladies and gentlemen, there you go. It's corn dog puppetry right there before your very eyes. Kelsey Shannon, we like to call him Sasquatch. We like to call him Bigfoot. And the reason we do that is because no one's ever seen him. So we don't know if he actually exists anymore, but we're hopeful that someday we'll see a sighting of Kelsey. But in the meantime, we're bringing in Joan Rivers to fill in for him. Yes, it is, of course, Dan Lawless. Hello, Dan. Thank you for joining us once again as our special guest host.
Dobry wieczór.
Is that French? What'd you say?
Dobry wieczór. Good evening.
Oh, okay.
It's Polish because we're going to study Sienkiewicz.
Okay, it's Polish. Okay, well, let's see. You don't get a lot. Did you have the opportunity to take Polish in high school?
No, that's the only words I know.
I don't think that was one of the options I had. Let's see, French, Spanish, or Polish. We had German. German was an option there for a while.
I'm not even sure which is the right, because there's a good morning. There's a good. So it's Dzień dobry is kind of like a good morning sort of afternoon. Then Dobry wieczór is the good evening.
Okay, well, you said it really well, so it's like you could go to Poland.
Probably my genes. I'm half one. My mom's 100% Polish.
Does
she took one of those genetic. She took one of those genetic tests, and she got back, I think, like 99% Polish. So we're wondering what that 1% is.
But she didn't come over on the boat. She's like been here a while, right? Or did she?
Just
she got
one
an
or
accent?
One or two generations, I think.
Okay, so she doesn't have like a Polish accent or anything like that.
Oh no. She didn't even make Polish food. It just I didn't have any Polish culture growing up at all. That back then they kind of wanted to dump it. When they got here.
Well, there's a lot of Polak jokes going around back of that day, so it's kind of like probably.
Yeah, I know. I told them. We all knew the Polak jokes because
are you embracing the culture now?
Yeah, I'm embracing the jokes. Well, that's the only reason I revive my culture. Oh, we can't lose our jokes. What? There's no one making fun of us? That sucks.
I know. There's nothing left.
Damn it.
Then.
My day, in the old days, it used to be people made fun of.
That's right. Because you used to have like you take a Polak and there was a German, and I don't remember the jokes. You know,
Yeah, well, they sent. You remember when that one time they sent the Polak to Polish terrorists to go blow up a car. Well, he blew his mouth up. He burned his mouth in the tailpipe.
Right. Exactly. Like, how many Polacks does it take to screw in a light bulb? 1,000. One to hold the light bulb and 999 to turn the house. Right? Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah. Hey, you're not Polish. You can't tell them unless you're Polish.
Oh, I can't? Oh, okay.
Nope, that's the rules.
They don't have any Italian jokes. Did they used to have Italian jokes? They probably did. Like turn of the century, right? When there was a lot of Irish and Italian people migrating to the country. There had to have been Italian jokes, but I never heard any of them. Except something about WAP.
They tell them, but you get rubbed out the next day.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You have a horse head in your. You have a horse head in your bed.
You tell them one time. You get it's a one-time show.
It was something like what sound does it make when an Italian slips and falls? It's WAP, I think, is what I don't know, something like that. It's like the only one I ever heard. So. Anyway, what a good show we've got going so far.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, that's we like to keep it fresh here. We're just talking about that in the green room. How can we keep the show fresh? And this is it. We'll just do like Polish jokes every week, and then really.
Maybe I should bring back Mr. Corn D to liven it up.
Mr. Corn D.
What he showed is corn.
Oh, is that Mr. Well, you didn't give him a name. Is that Mr. Bill? Is Mr. Corn D? Okay. You're gonna do, Gary, is to have you like tape like puppet shows with Mr. Corn D, like little tents, like Mr. Bill they used to do on Saturday Night Live. You can do Mr. Corn D, and we'll show your video every week. Mr. Corn D videos.
What's Mr. Corn D's? What's Mr. Corn D's beef?
I'm gonna tie him down and force him to watch me eat a corn dog.
Yeah, I'd have him just like cut back to him with this kind of scary music. I'm like, that's pretty good. I like it. If you get him to speak Polish, because he'd be like a Polish dog, right? Which are my favorite. Yeah. Like you go to a sporting event, you get a Polish dog. Oh, I'm telling you, see, Dan, there is some good things that Polish brought here. Mm-hmm. Polish hot dogs. He's not even paying attention. Like he's
okay.
He's like doing his homework. He's like,
reading the chat. He's trying to see.
I was looking at something.
Like him.
Sorry about that.
Okay, all right. Well, that's all right.
I can only focus on one thing at a time. I'm like, I can't multitask.
Well, at least you're physically here, right? So that's something,
Right.
Okay, let's see who's in the chat. Ronan is here. Okay. Did you guys I'm sure you guys don't watch. I know David was there, but did you watch The Professionals last night? We had this conversation about how to actually pronounce Mobius, the artist. It's
Moebius.
Moebius.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the Three Stooges. Hey, Moebius.
Wrong.
That's how you say it.
We're American. We say Mobius.
You say Mobius. But no, apparently it's Moebius is how it's supposed to be pronounced. So Billy Tucci swore up and down that he met Mobius and he called him Mobius and he said, no, it is Moebius.
Okay. So you say it with an accent, it makes sense.
That pronunciation sounds like a Three Stooges word.
That's what I said. Yeah, it's Moebius. So anyway, but then we watched a Harlan Ellison video. And now, of course, Harlan's pretentious as they get. So if anybody would say it like Moebius, it would be him. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's right. But he said, my next guest is known as Mobius, or if he said Moebius, but if your French isn't that good, Mobius. So he recognized both pronunciations, but did say that it was Moebius. So there we go. And the reason I bring that up is because Ronan is bringing it up in the chat. So Creative Face says, Aaron, can we keep Dan even when Kelsey comes back? He could be the new studio pet, artist. Look at Creative Faith throwing shade your way.
Sure.
Left-handed.
That's fine with me. I like pets. So I guess I don't know. I'm trying to roll with it. I don't think there's a good way out of that, is there?
You know, I got a joke that's very similar to that in Kid Carter. I almost said it, but then I was like, no, just you guys have to read it, I guess. But it's very similar to that. So
see, now you could probably do that joke years ago, but now with all this furry stuff and shit, like now it's like you can't go anywhere near that crap anymore.
Pet bees.
We can't go anywhere near anything anymore is the problem.
I know, they're ruining everything.
JV Styler. I used to call him JV Tenor, Style 10 now, but it's JV Styler. Hi, he says. All that for him to say hi. Let's see. Creative. Oh my gosh, he's just piling on.
You could say mascot. That would work, right?
Well, she's
Mascot
referring to my dog who barks all the time, not the Nebraska Cornhuskers. But Dan, quieter than Husker, and although he likes to chew on socks, he'd make a great addition. So it's really just a series of left-handed compliments, as they say, from Creative Faith. John,
I take whatever I can get.
Well, and we will. You are officially, as I said, you are officially our official guest host. And you by the time Kelsey shows back up, you'll probably want a break. I've had enough.
I'm growing a beard that's like Kelsey's, but it's not as big yet. So
no, we got a little gray in there.
If I can grow it long enough, and then Kelsey comes back, he can just superimpose me, and I can just walk out. It's got to get a lot longer though. So we don't want to have no transition there. We want to just go right to.
Yep.
I've got something to share from Creative Faye later while we're on, her topics.
Well, she's dominating the chat here, but I keep putting her up here, so I guess it's my fault. Jokes aside, I got the Fantastical Creatures Field Guide I ordered Monday. It's a real fun read with great artwork. I think you would be great at writing prose, Aaron. You have a distinct voice. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I was honestly, I was surprised. I didn't know anything about your writing, and I got Wraith of God, and I thought, wow, you can really write. That was quite good. So.
Well, I thank you.
Yeah, that's a left-handed compliment, Aaron.
No, I didn't. I said I didn't know if he could write, and then I found out he could write.
Now you're.
Wait a minute! Don't try to dig me in this hole.
I was shocked to find out you could draw, Aaron. What the heck?
Yeah, I thought there's no way this moron's going to be able to write a story. And surprise!
Aaron, would you be more offended if somebody said, I bought your comic and I knew you could write, but I didn't know you could draw.
Well, Gary, the funny thing is, that's what I used to get. I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger trying to break in, right, I would publish my own sketchbooks, which I still do because no one else will do it. And I would have stuff in there that was actually really pretty good. And people, like editors and stuff, they would come by and look at the stuff going, wow, I didn't know you could draw that good. It's just going, geez.
That's
I heard that
when it comes from an editor.
And let me ask you guys something. If you guys were not professional artists in comics, now think about your young self, not what you would answer now. Would you still try to work in comics?
If I wasn't an artist?
Yes.
You mean fast forward the 20-year-old Gary living today?
Yes.
Like as an editor or a writer, or just not creatively at all, or just as
no, it could still be creative. I mean, a writer, editor. I mean, I think that's the only other thing.
No.
Yeah,
it's a no for me.
The only reason I was attracted to comic books when I was a kid was because of the art, and because I was, aspiring artist, and that really was something special that was really interesting to me. I mean, we had kids in the neighborhood. We all were collecting comics for a while, but then, like most kids do, right? At least back then, when there wasn't as many options. But then they grew out of it, and I never did because I was an artist, and I kept, the attraction was there.
But as an editor, you'd be around art all the time, and you're an art collector, so you'd be even closer to this stuff.
Yeah, but I wonder how much of that stuff is because I am an artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Would I, if I wasn't an artist, would I have the same appreciation for it? I can't even answer that. I don't know.
Well, you can't compare the art in comics today to.
No. You're not doing it today. I'm saying like if you back in the day, like would you have still tried to get into comics because you loved comics?
I don't know. I'd probably be a chiropractor right now.
Yeah, probably not.
Wow.
I would be an engineer.
That'd be, see, you're smarter. My son's an engineer, and he's just like making bank.
I was ready to go into engineering, and then in the last minute, I decided to go into art school instead.
Yeah, I had a lucrative job working in a warehouse. And
talking
my boss gave me a raise to try to keep me from moving to New York, but I moved anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would have. I don't think I would at all. Because I think, well, my mom, though, you know, I still would be a science fiction fan, I think, and a fantasy fan in terms of like movies and books and stuff.
Sure.
But I don't know that, I don't know. That's a really good question. I mean, I might have pursued writing because I used to write a lot when I was younger. But then I just realized that how much work was involved in actually getting your artwork to a professional level that took all my focus for years, and I didn't do much writing.
I mean, think about this. If you were an editor and you could hire your favorite artists and stuff like that to write your stories, you'd have Walt Simonson drawing your books, and you're just that much closer to owning some of that artwork and all that. Man, I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah, but would I be that into it as a, you know, just from a fan standpoint if I wasn't an artist? I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm doing that right now because I hired David Williams to draw one of my a backup story in my book. And we were just looking at that stuff prior to the show coming on. It looks fantastic. I'm not going to show you guys it yet. You're going to have to wait till the campaign launches.
Oh, man.
But it looks cool. And I will tell you that I do get a kind of a charge out of that. And I think David and we talked about this on the phone, is like it's one thing, you know, if you're trying to just find someone you can afford and you don't know what you're going to get, right? And you hire them, but you got to do it because I can't draw all this stuff, so I need to hire this guy, and hopefully he does a good job. But when you go out and hire someone you know is really good, it's really kind of fantastic, that moment where you get the page in and you see something and you're like, wow, I never would have thought to do it that way, you know? And you're looking at somebody who is just as good as you are or better or whatever, and it just blows you away. I'm not trying to say that David's better than I am. I'm just saying. or like when I had Dan color Garbage Man, it's like I would never color it like that. You know, so you look at it and go, wow, that is so cool, because it's just so outside of, you know, your box, if you will, of what you do. But, you know, by the same token, if you had to hire some hack, you know, it may not be as satisfying, because you're like, oh, what was I thinking, you know? So.
I got to point out something also. We have over 100 people watching right now.
Over 200. If you want.
Over 200. Please press like on this if you stick around.
Like.
Yeah. You know, show us some love, guys.
Yeah, and hit that subscribe too.
Yeah, if you like it or not, press the like button.
That's right. Even if you don't like it,
if you
hate, you're not making a statement. You're just helping us out.
You're helping
us out.
Like,
how much you like to hate it.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's right.
That's right. Help a fella out. Okay, let me get through. That was an interesting discussion, by the way, though. But
you know, can I just address what David said though? It's like I don't think you separating art from us. It's like cutting off a part of your soul. Like there's no way I can't even get in that mindset, because that's part of who I am. You know, there's just no way
exactly.
I can think that way, because it's like I'd have to be a different person. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Or if we didn't, you know, if you never quite got good enough to make it, you know, would you have given up and just turned your back on comics, or would you keep, you know, being involved in it, even though you were ever able to, you know?
Yeah, well, again, that's being a different person. I don't know, you know.
It's like chopping off your wiener and pretending to be something that you're not.
Doesn't matter how much hormone therapy you're going to get, you're never going to
work.
We're just talking comics, people.
That's right. We're just talking comics. It's just a metaphor, you know.
Yeah, metaphor. Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to it here. Leg Kick is here because Leg Kick is almost always here. Past Master Dan the Pizza Man Genovese is back. Thanks for joining us. Legendary Monkey is joining us. Says hi, Aaron, twice. Repairman Jack is joining us.
Yeah, I think he said hi twice because he's the legendary monkey. He's not some, you know.
He's not just an average monkey. He's the legendary monkey.
Exactly.
Okay. Repairman Jack says, "Sup, Brohawk." So I'm glad he's singling you out. Oh no, he says, "Ahoy, Dan." So Dan and David get some special shout out, and me and Gary kicked to the curb apparently.
Yep.
Birdman Burr says, "One of the best shows on the internet. Hail chat, hail Graybeards." Thank you for that. Appreciate it very much.
Birdman, what do you mean one of?
Come on. Andy Smith can never pronounce this guy's name, but me, being the articulate scholar that I am, it's Headless Bourgeoisie is here. Wouldn't it be funny if I was mispronouncing it after saying that? Pantheon is here. Let's see, who else? Got a lot of conversation going on here. Jay Dredd joining us. He says, "Guess who's got the woo flu, but is still here in bed waiting to watch the Graybeard Studio Show?" That's right, this guy. Jay Dredd, thank you for defeating COVID and watching this show despite it. Skull Natural.
Talk one up for us.
That's right. Who needs a shot when you can get a shot of this right here? That didn't sound very good. How to Draw Comics by Dan Lawless is here. Let's see. There's Marcus Killer Group, purveyor of all things pop culture knowledge. Said Headless Bourgeoisie says, "Buscema is great, and I like Sienkiewicz enough to be able to spell his name without looking it up." Really? Look at that. That was a shot at David right across the bow there.
Can we back up to Marcus? He's been posting love comic covers, and he's on John Buscema, and they're pretty awesome.
Oh, so, yeah, the romance covers.
Right.
You just called them love
covers. You've been doing
covers.
that for a while.
Love comics.
Great
love
stuff.
covers.
Great. You don't really realize how much Romita drew. I mean, oh my gosh, that guy.
No, he's on Buscema now.
Oh, he's on Buscema now. Oh,
yeah, but Romita drew. Both of them drew. I was
and the ones
Buscema did any, and he did.
The ones where Romita inked Buscema are just amazing.
Oh, I know. It's magic. I'm gonna look at them right now.
And they're expensive too. You go in the collector's market because those print runs on those were not good, and they weren't saved by the kids. They were trashed.
Right.
So there's not a lot of copies available of that stuff. Bloody Drake says, "Lawful Dan Lawless," of course, referring to last week when we discovered that I had misspelled his name, but it's been corrected in the final version. So
yeah, no expense spared.
That's right. Cost me extra money to change that page, but I did it because I
thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Philip Tahale is here. He says, fired up. Oh, these I'm still reading like comments from when we were late getting started. I'm way behind here. Eric Boyd, Spaceman, Robert Doan's Pills is here. You guys remember Doan's Pills, don't you, for back pain?
Yeah, I could use some of those about now.
I know, they don't even make them anymore, do they? I know. Nobody important is here. That's good to know. Henry Bemis, all the way from Oregon, is joining us. Did I say Randy Howell from Canada? He is here, of course. Let's see. Fane Lowlife is here. Just scrolling along here. Hulk Smash. He says, "Why does Kelsey hate us?" We don't know.
We're all assuming he's hard at work, and when he reappears, we're going to be blown away.
Yeah. Well, or he could actually be Bigfoot and could be tessering back and forth between dimensions.
That's true. Yeah.
He could also be flaccid at work.
Okay, David.
Robert the Bruce wants to know, how in the heck did Aaron spell Bill's last name to search for the videos, but can't spell Dan's last name? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Katie Did's channel is here. Great timing. Just got off work. I was looking for something to listen to. Hail, fellas, and chat. Thanks.
And
Katie.
you selected us.
Hey,
what were you
Katie.
thinking?
Yeah. Katie, my goodness, what are you thinking? Indeed. Sean Willits is here. Glad I caught you guys on the start. YouTube never notifies me. I know. It's like everybody's working against us. I don't understand it. Oh, Katie says, hello, Dan. I like how Katie always like singles out Dan and just ignores the rest of us. Carbon Heart is here. Zeno the Stoic.
When you point it out, then it becomes a thing.
Exactly.
I want it to be a thing.
Well, have you guys been on Katie's show? I have a number of times.
No,
He's bragging.
Yeah, I've never been invited.
Well, that makes the difference. Going on the show, and then you get favorite treatment.
I expect,
Okay, Dan, shut up.
Zeno the Stoic says Italians are very touchy. You tell a good joke and you might end up sleeping with the fishes. Indeed, that is so true. Despite my ancestry coming from Sicily, I have no mob connections that I'm aware of.
That you're aware of.
That I'm aware of. Jimmy Owens, thanks for joining us, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
Okay, see, that's a compliment there. Hello, Aaron and crew.
Yeah, well, there's a pecking order, Gary. You should understand that by now. Robert the Bruce for $4.99. Thank you so much. Dan, how is it Aaron can spell? Oh, see, he's like, well, at least he gave me money for it. I read it twice now. Dan, how is Aaron can spell Sienkiewicz but not Lawless? Hailed Beards. So he's basically, that's directed at you, Dan. That's not directed at me. He just wants to know how in the world.
No, it's a general question for the public.
Well, he says Dan, so that,
he said Dan? Oh, I didn't see
Dan,
that.
how is it? I don't know if he's insinuating maybe I was taking a shot at you and I got caught. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kevin Wolf is joining us. How about that? Spaceman, of course. The Druid's Druid is here. That's like the ultimate Druid, apparently.
The leader of the Druids.
No, he's the favorite. Like, there's always like a cool Druid. Like, a bunch of them are nerds, and then there's
that's
cool
true.
Druid
Yeah.
that all the other Druids want to hang with.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like a man's man and a Druid's Druid. So, carbon
I always
dioxide.
kind of wonder, are there like in like the animal kingdom, they're like nerdy tigers, and like the other tigers just go, that guy's so nerdy.
Tiger. That guy's a tiger's tiger. Right?
And is that what you lay awake at night thinking about? Are there nerdy tigers?
They're the dorky tiger.
There's a dorky tiger or something.
I've seen dorky dogs. Like, I've watched them. Like, people brought them over there, and they're like, they just walk like they're gangling. Like,
right.
That is one dorky dog.
They just want to be part of the gang.
Oh my God! There's Rand Arrington. There's all lucky 7. That's what it is. As an artist, you can really write. Of course, he's referring back to Dan's left-handed compliment of my work. Zaid Comics, that's Phil Diaz is here, also known as Merv the Astro Chimp. Green Lasers joining us. How about that? Hail to Hand Lawless. All right. Okay. A man called Plush is here.
Keep going, Mick. You get it.
Kevin Wolf. Who am I
trying.
missing here? Sequential Treasures. Gary worked in a warehouse that was filled with blankets. What was this?
Finally revealed.
The Druid says, Aaron, I don't know if you saw my question on Twitter, but would you be okay if us ingrates used hashtag Graybeards to showcase our own artwork based on the actual artists that you're showcasing? I'm not sure I understand the question, but sure, go ahead. I think I understand the question.
Use the hashtag Graybeards when he's posting it. I don't see why not.
Yeah, absolutely use it.
That was too much writing. We can't read that much on this show. Our artists.
This is what I've been waiting for right here. Stealth X5 for $2. Hello, Stealth. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, Stealth, you realize that the week that you don't do that, Aaron's going to be mad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I expect a $2 hello from you every time, Stealth. Carbon Dioxide says Aaron would be working at Funko Pop if he wasn't an artist. I don't even know what that means. Is that a slam? I'm not sure how to.
I think I would like to work there.
Yeah, right.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah,
got fun in the word.
Funko Pop.
Yeah, a toy company would be cool. I think.
For sure.
Torchbearer Studios, give me a minute. I got to send the kids out to play if we were going to be doing wiener cutting jokes. that was a Brohawk joke, by the way. Not
you can't
Not
can't-
sanctioned by the show.
Yeah, you can't give David a time frame. That stuff is, that comes out of his mouth, and there's nothing anybody can do about it.
That's right, and it could happen at any time.
You shouldn't be able to make those kind of jokes too behind an avatar, like because we got to take the shot.
I know, because they have somebody will clip it, and we'll be the faces. And
Exactly. It should be reversed. He can make his jokes when he's on camera. And we'll be the avatars.
Corin Zenith, all the way from Australia, is joining us. How about that? Lone Star Viper. Let's see. Who do we got here? Mickey. I talked to Kelsey, but he can't make it because there's no spitting allowed, she says. That's what Mickey says. So apparently she's
Wow,
I like how you're is that in Japanese too? What's the other language above the no spitting there, Gary?
I have no idea.
There's no spitting. There's only swallowing.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Oh
Japanese.
my gosh. There it is again. Judas Priest.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
The kids are gone, so David is unleashed.
Oh my gosh. Katie did for $2. Thank you, Katie. Hello, Aaron, David, and Gary. Good to see you all too. There you go. She's included.
Woohoo!
Robert Doan says his dog is a dork, so maybe there is a dog. That's a dog's dog, and then there's dork dogs, so there could be dork tigers. $2 for Stealth X5 says we need some of Gary's corn dog news. Oh, you'll get it.
Yeah, not today, but
Well, there'll be something that what's Gary's beef today at some point. So
it is a food product.
yeah, well, it usually is. It usually deals with you grocery shopping or insulting someone at a food counter. So okay, so we made it through the chat and through a few sidebars here and there. Let's do a little show and tell, shall we? David, do you have anything that you can show that isn't something you're doing for me?
Nope.
Okay, Gary, what do you got? Let's see what Gary's got. Oh my goodness, is that
Working through some of my commissions. This was a commission piece of a panel from a page that I inked over Dave Gibbons in Brave and Bold a long time ago.
You inked one page over Dave Gibbons?
No. It was from a job that it was just one panel that he wanted me to blow up from a page.
Okay.
And make a splash page out of it. So I inked half the book.
You seem like you would be a good inking match for Dave Gibbons. Were you happy with that? Was he happy with it, how it turned out?
Well, he asked for me a couple of times after this. So
okay, well, that's a good sign.
Yeah. He didn't have a lot of inkers because he was, he's a pretty great inker himself.
Right.
But for whatever reason, he didn't have time to ink that job. And so he asked for me, and boy, was I happy. Okay. Cool. And then I've been working on my art book campaign portrait commissions.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Somebody asked for this guy.
Yeah. A Rocketeer.
We all know the Rocketeer.
Let's see. This is a character of somebody's own elf character.
Gertrude?
I don't know that much about her.
Gertrude the elf?
It might be.
Looks a little bit Kate Blanchett-esque. Kate Blanchett.
I can't imagine. I'd love to see this in person. Like, that would be wild. Yeah. I mean, I seeing this stuff on the screen, I tell you, it's different when you actually hold the art in your hands. It's incredible.
And then here, one more.
Oh, look at that. I love how you did the hair. That's a great piece. Look at the eye there, his left eye. I love how you did that. Nice shadow. Now, do you have some photo reference for the lighting here? Or did you just make it up?
I made up most of the lighting. I wanted him to look, gruesome.
Can you zoom in on
adding shadows on faces? I'm constantly experimenting with that.
Zoom in.
Can you zoom in on the line work? I would love to see like the eye. Oh wow. Okay, yeah. That's so cool.
Most people would fail at putting any kind of rendering in the eye.
On the eye. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking,
Well, it's
oh
interesting,
boy.
yeah, because you pull back and it kind of turns into a gray, which is exactly what you want, and then gives the eye a little bit of volume.
Yes.
But it still looks cool up close too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I wanted to zoom in, because it's amazing to see this stuff when you zoom in on it, and it's beautiful, you know. So
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't. I was just inking. I'll show what I was inking here.
oh, there it is.
Well, hang on, so let me.
Oh, okay, that's a nice, decent size.
So it looks bigger on camera. This is 8.5 by 11.
It almost if you hold it just right, Gary, it could like substitute for your like a mask. It could be
Almost your head. Yeah, put it in front of your face.
A little farther.
Yeah, put it in front of your face.
Yeah,
I
move a little
told
farther.
you. I'm live streaming.
Get back in the kitchen, bitch. Come in here when I ring my bell.
She looks so bummed out too. You really were giving it to her. Boy.
What?
She was
What is
really
going on?
like the woman
sad,
looked like she was really being chastised by.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
okay, well,
was-
you
she
said
was
like you
thinking-
were giving it to her, and I was like, God, between you and David,
No,
I'm like,
I
what
didn't
the heck
mean
is
it.
going on? in
See, you can't say
Chicago?
anything anymore. There's not. It's like nothing is sacred.
I guess wow. Okay, Dan, what have you got to show us here? What do you got here? Oh, look at this.
Yeah, this is a piece I did for Cecil. It's going to be a T-shirt, and it's done in the style of Gold's Gym. You know.
I love that.
So-
It is. Yeah, I used to wear Gold's Gym. I used to work out at Gold's Gym.
Yeah, and so what this was actually I just did this for fun about a year ago, and it was because Cecil was getting himself in shape. I thought I'm going to draw him like as a muscle dude, and I did, but it really wasn't any use for it because it's not really funny. Like it's not the Cecil funny thing. So he said, "Wow, it's great, but I don't know what I can do with it." Then this year he was thinking of doing a muscle shirt, and the thing is, for a workout shirt, you don't want the silly Cecil looks that's not
Right.
cool. But this was then perfect for a muscle shirt, for a workout shirt,
Yeah.
And now it found a usage finally, and I didn't, I never planned it to be. It was just fun, but it's I get a kick out of it. It's it's gross.
I love it.
It's cool. It's very cool.
It is. It's
I
great.
would. I'm not a t-shirt guy, but I would wear that.
Yeah, so would I. It reminds me of, I don't know if you guys remember, were they in comic books or magazines where they used to have, you could order like iron-ons and stickers or whatever, and they had like just like rows of these images. And as a kid, you didn't really even, like Panama Red, right, which is weed, but I didn't know it at the time. I just liked the drawing of this, red-haired guy with a big hat smoking weed. And
Let me show you the other one too. Hang on a second.
Hey, you know what you could do to make those funny is make those dumbbells into big giant shake weights and put the movement symbols like he's.
wow, this show isn't even started and we're off the rails already. Oh my gosh.
Okay, check this one out. It's the yellow
okay.
version. It's actually more of the Gold's Gym look, So I mean, it could be on any color T-shirt, but of course, the yellow will be the.
I like that too.
Yeah, I can go either way. But this reminds me of like one of those kind of rando images that you would put on a weightlifting shirt or something that doesn't necessarily mean anything particular, but it looks cool, so you put it on, and that looks really cool.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So it
I
works.
love it.
Happy to have found a usage for it. So sometimes that's what happens is happy accidents,
Yeah. Well, that's what Dan does. He kind of like, he's like a satellite. He revolves around all these campaigns and then like just randomly does stuff and goes, "Hey, do you want to use this?" And you're like, hey, "Here's another $300. Here's another."
Well, actually, it's me having fun, really. Like with the Kit Carter piece, I was just goofing off because you guys were making those jokes about these suggestive symbols in the picture, and I thought I'm just gonna do one just for fun. And then the one I did, it wasn't even that finished when I showed you. I had to go back and actually finish it, but it was a loose. The drawing was really loose.
Yeah, but it was really, really nice.
But then I went back and did it, tight. But just saying the.
And now it's the back cover, and your name is.
Yeah, so it all worked out. But it's funny how just we're joking around, and all of a sudden something works out. It's pretty cool.
How long did it take you to do this from start to finish?
I don't remember. It's just one figure. I can do it pretty quick. Honestly, it's a day work, day job.
No, that turned out great.
Yeah,
With
Mickey
backgrounds
was
and
asking
stuff.
a question about publishing rights. So what Dan is doing here is for publishing, and he knows that going in. Doing a personal commission of artwork like those pieces that I showed, that's just the art only. That has nothing. They do not have the right to publish it. You'd have to make that agreement ahead of time.
That's right. That's the interesting thing, because if you notice, you look at like Stout does this, Bill Stout does it, and Dave Stevens used to do it all the time, is they put a copyright on everything they sign.
Right.
And I tried to do that once, and they were like, take that copyright off there, for like Marvel or whatever. And I go, well, Dave Stevens does it. And they're like,
But yeah, I mean, that's you kind of take that for granted that somebody's buying artwork, you're sending the original art, and you're assuming they're not going to publish it. But every once in a while, they will, and then you say, "Wait a minute,
yeah, you can't."
Okay, if you publish it, you just have to, send me a fee,
or at least get permission. I mean, some of us are going to be like,
right?
But at least get permission before you do it. Yeah, Gary, do you want me to bring up that image, or is that for something later?
Sure.
All right, back to Gary.
What are we looking at here?
You guys, everybody's speculating on how old Gary is.
I see now. I'm looking like, what is that?
Yeah.
Now we know how old Gary actually is.
I was there, man.
Well, you have a little bit of an angelic lighting to you. So.
That's right. Yeah. So, Creative Face sent that to me.
Oh. Okay, I've got something I want to show. And now this is, Gary will appreciate part of this, probably, but maybe not the whole thing. This is the first cover I got finished for Wraith of God 3. Now, the pumpkin down here in the foreground, that's all brush, baby. So I did.
Did you ink him first and give up, or did you ink him?
Yes, yes, that's exactly what happened. I did some of the horse in brush. And then, what happens with me is I rinse my brush out because I don't take a break. Then I'm like, do I want to dip that in ink again? So I have to wash it out again when I'm done. And then I
can see like the rendering on the pumpkin, it's larger, and that inking the small figure on a horse all in brush can be,
Yes, especially for me. And so some of it is brush, like right in here. That was brush in there.
1 square inch of the horse is brush.
Well, it was, but then I was like, why am I brush inking this?
Why am I doing this?
Yeah, exactly. And the outline of the horse is in brush as well.
Hey, did you hide your signature like a Hirschfeld Nina?
I haven't put it on there yet
Because I was looking for it. I'm like, where's the signature?
because the moon isn't. I haven't inked in the moon yet.
Okay.
Okay, this horse is beautifully drawn, Aaron. I got to say,
Yeah, that's not an easy angle.
Yeah.
Horses are tough.
It's kind of an upshot, and the horse rearing up like that.
Yes.
That's double tough.
Fantastic.
Thank you guys very much. So that's going to be, I guess, cover A. And then I showed you guys the layouts for the other ones, which were kind of an EC homage, and then a 1972 Marvel box cover again. Because quite by accident, I'd done one on every one of my Wraith campaigns. And so I figured, well, let's keep the tradition going. Because I love that, that old style box format that the Marvel did for that 1 year, 1972. Or it was actually not even a year. It was about 8 months, I think.
I'm getting a lot of CRAP for my age now in the chat. I'm just going to read just one.
Okay.
Mike, TV dub, Gary's first commission went for 30 pieces of silver. Okay, Chris Andrew. Gary brought the gift of frank ink sense.
Nice.
There's a bunch of them. I mean, they're all
Now
there.
it does make more sense though, because it makes Judas seem a little less of a bad guy because he was really wanted to buy your art, and it went good to a good cause, So he had to. He wanted to buy a first issue of.
Mickey says even the blanket was there. Byron Smith says Gary inked the Old Testament. Birdman says Gary brought Jesus corn dogs. All right, I'm gonna stop.
Kosher ones.
Yeah, kosher ones. Right, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm sure St. Paul said all things are good now because he had a corn dog.
After that,
because he was like they had they couldn't, the Jewish people had very good, strict restrictions on their food, but then he had a corn dog. Said, "That's it. Everything.
You went too far.
We're going to widen the tent here. We're going to allow a lot more types of food here. This has got to be from God. This is so good."
Oh my goodness. All right. So what we're going to do today is take a look at a couple videos actually.
Let's talk for 10 more minutes and it will have been an hour.
Okay. So.
Oh my gosh.
Did I show my?
No, you haven't. You just showed the one cover.
I did. Are you sure? I thought I showed like the roughs.
No.
I guess I did that on the Sunday show. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see here. Yeah. So here's the next one. Let me make. Let's see. Boom. Okay. So this is like an EC cover, right?
I love that head. That
So,
gruesome. I mean, come on. How creepy is that?
That's
What's-
wow.
what's going to happen here is, see, this is why I do roughs like this that are pretty complete, because I thought, okay, well, I think his head would look good here, but then his foot ends up right on the trim line.
Yeah.
So now I light table this and I can lift, where is he? There. I can lift him up so he's a little bit higher, so his foot will not get trimmed at the bottom.
Well, there's a kind of a dead space between his head and the
Right.
motor. So yeah, you could.
Right. So that's what I'm going to do.
It might be cool if you printed that cover glossy, but the head was in matte.
Or like, you know what do they call that? Spot, help me out here. Spot gloss. Spot gloss. Isn't that what it's called? Where they have like you have a matte. It's just the opposite of what you said, though. It's a matte cover, and the head is shiny.
Yeah. And make it all wet looking. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. That'd be better.
That's a good idea. I like that. Okay, I'll use that.
Well, this is I love these retro cover kind of things. They're so cool. Now, is this kind of like a tribute to the EC comics?
Yeah, that's absolutely what it is. So it's going to say like, over here, it's going to say fear on the side, like it did in Haunted.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're going to have the Wraith's head here, Esther's head here, and then a villain only as the master right here that is in this.
You told me you're going to put my face on the cover.
Well,
it is.
Pretty much is right here.
That's a
pretty much it, right?
Green Laser says spot varnish.
Thank you. That's what I meant. Spot varnish. I should do that on this cover. I'll do it. I will do
That's
it.
a good
Spot
idea,
Yeah, that would be a cool look. Really cool.
Yeah.
And then here's the Marvel 70s one with the box, right? So you have Empire Comics across the top, like Marvel Comics. You got the little Wraith head here, the issue number, the Comics Code Authority thing is here, and then down at the bottom here it'll say Fear Hollow, and you'll have this little square here. So you've got Esther in the foreground with her shotgun, and then the Wraith and the Headless Horseman battling here in the background. So that should be kind of fun.
Are you going to pull the Michael Golden and do the box art, like that upper corner Wraith original artwork on the back of your cover? So whoever buys the cover gets a bonus. Golden did that with his Doctor Strange covers.
No, it's going to be on the front.
No.
No.
Okay. You're going to draw the original on.
Yeah, the lettering, all
okay.
this will be hand lettered here and here. The only thing that'll be dropped in is the Empire Comics. The banner will be there, but the lettering will be dropped in,
Okay.
and the this comics code will be dropped in, and then of course the issue number. But the boxes will still be there.
I think what Gary is saying is like, your corner art of Wraith.
Mm-hmm.
He puts that on the back cover, but like the corner Marvel art.
Yeah.
Michael Golden did. Okay, he just blew up the full piece and put it on the back of one of his covers, and so you get to see just the box art on the very back cover.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you were saying, Gary?
No.
I knew that.
Well, it was worth a try.
Hey, Aaron, what does Captain Vipto mean? Do we need 2 ofs?
Captain Bipto says, "Do we really need 2 ofs?" Oh, did I put of on there twice? I might have, because I was.
Nothing gets by the chat.
Well, it's something where after maybe put 2 ofs there. You want correct it now before it goes to print.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm a ways away from that going to the printer, so hopefully I will catch such dumb mistakes this time.
Looks like Wizard Sleeves has joined us.
Uh-oh, Gary's nemesis is in the chat.
Nemesis. I like Wizard Sleeves.
You just don't understand whether.
No, he intrigues me.
Let's see. Byron Smith says, "Do enough covers and you increase your chances of another award-winning cover."
That's right.
I'm going to keep making covers until I win.
Throwing it to see what sticks to the wall.
Yeah.
Just flood the market. Yeah, they only see yours.
That's right. Let's see. If it's the Headless Horseman, wouldn't the last circle be empty? That's right. Now we're a Headless Horseman comic, and there's nothing there.
Oh, you should do that. That would be awesome. Just show like the shoulders.
Yeah, the top of the collar.
That would it's a great idea.
That's a brilliant idea.
Okay.
I would definitely do that now. Totally.
I could do that. I could actually put him in the circle, couldn't I? One of the circles.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
No head, the Headless Horseman.
It's like you see just part of the collar sticking.
Yeah.
That's it.
It was like the Invisible Man, right? There's a Marvel corner box and there's nothing there. The Invisible Man.
Okay, you're going to do that now, or everyone's going to be disappointed. So.
I know.
Including me.
Henry Bemis says, "Why not a Shock Suspense 6 homage? That would be cool." Shock Suspense 6, is that the one?
Is that the one with the axe?
I'm going to look it up. I think it's the one with the the girl that's being held by the Klan members or something. But I could be wrong. Shock Suspense 6. We shall find out. It is, it's the Klan member one. I'm not sure why he wants that one.
Yeah, okay. Now that took a dark turn.
It's Wally Wood, though. This is actually, I had this conversation with my son, who's an avid collector as well of comics. And there's like 3 really prominent EC covers that everybody wants. This is one of them. It's a little soft focus, but this one, and then
it's really expensive. The original art in it. What did the original art go for this? It was really expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. It was over 100,000 though, and it's Wally Wood. And then there's the one where the guy's holding up his wife's head, and he has the axe. You can see her body laying on the floor in the background. That's another one that is like,
yeah. I'm wondering what these dudes, what their beef is with this
poor woman.
Or
what did she do?
They drag her out to the woods in her
negligee or whatever. Yeah.
How many negligee-clad women have graced comic book covers?
Well, you got to think maybe back in the 50s, a lot of women were, I was going to say traipsing around in negligees, apparently.
I think didn't Neil Adams draw a lot of helpless, nightgown attired women running from,
Well, yeah, but those are always in those gothic, like House of Secrets covers, and then the what was
You
that?
never see covers of monsters chasing dudes in their pajamas.
Yeah, and they're boxers.
Right.
Well, before the internet, those guys had to do something. Those torture guys.
Okay.
Pre-internet. Now all those guys with the mask and stuff.
Betty out of bed and
now all those guys in the mask and the outfits and the whips and stuff, they're all on the internet.
We'll put on our Halloween masks, and that would be good for a laugh.
Well, they were getting away with as much as they could get away with because there was no comics code. No one was paying attention. And they were,
That's true. It was shock value. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, get the kid to pick up the cover, and especially those ECs. It was like some of the stuff they put on the covers, you're just like, whoa. And the funny thing is, they weren't the worst. It was the imitators, the guys that were doing horror comics because EC was successful, that just started going way over the top. And that's what ended up getting this Senate hearing going. It wasn't necessarily the ECs. They took the brunt of it because they were the big publisher, but it was those crappy, side publishers that were, having like sticks in people's eyes and things like on the cover, that. Yeah.
Well, DC did the same thing.
Well, not on the cover,
they tried to one up Marvel when Marvel, like in the
DC
Spider-Man heyday, Lee, John Romita, what was like Trouble on Campus? What was that title where their kids are protesting?
Crisis on Campus.
Crisis on Campus, yeah. And so to counter that, DC had the Green Arrow sidekick shooting up heroin on the cover. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I mean, those things, we can sit here and criticize them as concerned parents or whatever, but it's like that stuff sells books, right? That's the ones that people always are picking up.
Yeah, but it was Neil Adams.
That was an anti-drug issue, though. Well, I mean, that was
sure, but on the cover is Speedy, shooting up with heroin, So it's that was darn.
But you could write the script of that meeting. Look what Marvel's doing. We can do better than that.
Let's have Speedy shooting up with heroin. Yes, do it, Neil.
Exactly.
Make a social statement in the process. So
little Paul Levitt's in there, like, that'd be awesome.
Anyway, okay.
Okay, we killed the 10 minutes. Now on with the show.
Yeah, that's right. We stalled for an hour, so let's take a look at this John Buscema drawing Captain America and.
Hey, you know what I like about today's show? It's kind of like you go to class and instead of drawing, you're going to watch a movie.
Yeah.
And you're all like excited, like, oh, we don't have to draw. We're just going to watch it.
Yeah.
I love movie days.
Yeah, they were great. You never had to do any homework.
I just saw on Tubi a documentary on DMV shock films. Did you guys have those? Did you have like driver ed in school? Yes. Yep, and then ours was the film that they showed us to scare us straight was called Wheels of Tragedy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
and it's
that,
like, we're gonna have a movie today, kids. And you're sitting there. They're literally showing real freeway accidents with intestines strewn on the road. And,
that's probably what you got to see. I mean, it's scared straight type thing,
I saw not too long ago I guess it was on YouTube. I don't know where else I would have seen it, but stumbled across to like a public service film from the 50s, and they were showing actual people in car accidents that were. I was like, that's real. That dude's bleeding out on the, and you're just like.
But they would have actors portraying setting up the accident, like happy teenagers going out on Friday night and they steal their dad's beer or whatever, and then and then they cut to the real footage of a real accident with blood and guts on the road. It was like, weren't expecting that.
And then they would send you to lunch right after that, and you're like, man, I don't feel like spaghetti.
Oh, All right, let's look at Big John drawing a picture of Captain America. Now, I preface this by saying that they started too late on this video. He's already got the structure laid out, which kind of ticked me off. I was like, we want to see that too, you know. But it does take us through the inking. So, and there's
Can you full screen us a little more?
Yeah. That's the best I can do, Dan.
That's fine.
Okay. Now, there was no talking in this anyway, so by my muting it, we're not really missing anything.
Okay, so he's
We
not
can talk
narrating.
over
He's
it.
just drawing.
Yeah.
This
That arm
sucks.
doesn't look right.
This sucks.
Yeah. What the hell? Start over.
Next video.
And
What the heck?
all this scribble scrabble.
There's
Yeah,
John.
he's holding the pencil wrong.
Yeah.
What's he
He needs
doing?
to hold it like Eric Larson.
Why is he showing his face?
Yeah, yeah, hold it like Eric Larson.
Hang on a second. Now, do you guys remember in How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way?
Yeah.
They showed basically two ways to structure your drawing, right? By your stick figure method or your sort of meandering scribble
Right.
method.
Right.
Mhm.
And this isn't really the meandering scribble method, but this is certainly not stick figure method either. What I
Right.
do this a lot, and I don't know about you guys, but it's like, because we've been drawing so long, you just sort of outline the figure. It just sort of comes, you don't really stick figure it. You just sort of, because you got it so well in your head that you
Well,
can.
I don't draw as much as you guys, so I still have to break down the proportions first, because I always, if I try it your way, I'm well into the drawing, and then I realize, you know, an arm's too short, or it's like, then you have to erase half the figure.
Well, David, how do you do it?
A magic. No, I do it.
It's called talent. Look it up.
No, honestly, I do it kind of like what he's doing, like right now. But I ink from where this kind of rough stuff is.
Well, so does he. He's going to in a minute.
Yeah,
So you do a lot of your finishes in the ink.
in the ink. Yeah, but
Right.
when I'm penciling for someone like Gary, or anybody else for that matter, I pencil really tight. So it probably takes me longer just to pencil for some other inker.
Yeah, so look, he's just jumping right in with that.
Yeah.
What kind of brush is that, Gary? Can you see?
He's got,
That's
looks
a
like he's
mess.
got tape on the
Yep.
barrel.
Yeah, it's orange.
Oh,
too.
that's a
Is that a
yeah,
Raphael?
Raphael. Yeah, it's got the orange.
Which size do you think
That
that
is
is? That's
so
a
good.
3, don't you think that's a 3?
It's
That's
a
an
2.
awfully big. You think it's a 2? That's an
A
awfully
2,
big.
a 2 or a 3.
Yeah.
It depends on how old it is. You know, I've got 3s that look like 0s because they lose. You know, like all of us,
Yeah.
they lose hair.
This looks so awesome, except
you
for
ever-
the A.
Do
He's,
you
Go
guys
ahead.
ever cut the hairs off of the brush?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh, okay.
only if I get a stray one that I can't get to kind of conform back to the tip. I'll
Yeah.
cut
So
it off.
he's drawing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is drawing with the brush. He's not.
Mm-hmm.
That pencil is basically his underdrawing, and now he's with the brush. Because look how loose that is. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's just kind of.
Very loose. Yep.
See, I do the same thing, but I use a pen or whatever's closest.
Mhm.
But I'm not overly precious with the ink because I go in and I start carving. If you saw my originals, you see so much whiteout. So I'm cleaning it up with whiteout. You know.
Yeah.
So
It looks to me like he's not really inking. He's sketching.
he's still
Yeah.
sketching.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what. Because you can see he's sort of feeling his way around what he wants
Right.
to do.
And so he's not, you know, like I like to do like that thigh line, outside thigh line. I like to do that in one stroke.
Right.
He does it in, you know, 4 or 5 strokes.
Yeah, so he's using that brush just like a pencil. at this
Right.
point.
Mhm.
And yet I don't mind. Now, if that
No,
was
I
me,
mean,
I
it's-
would be
yeah.
cringing, just going, God, this looks like slop, you know?
Yeah,
But
he's very loose. His inking if you look at close-ups, good reproductions of Hal Foster, very similar.
Look at this. Look at
Yeah,
those lines.
yeah.
That would drive me nuts. I couldn't. I mean, I don't care if he does it; it looks fine. But if I was doing that, I was like, I couldn't do that.
Gary too. Probably that drives you nuts, huh?
Oh yeah, Gary.
There's
Gary
no way.
told
I mean,
me.
that gap between the lines and the top of the boot, there's no way I would leave that.
But even as a drawing, I think Gary and Aaron would draw like every one of those little chainmail things and stuff to make them just right, you know?
Yeah, I would draw them first. Yeah,
Now another thing too is this guy's drawn on camera. That's a little distracting too. You know?
true.
But it's still
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. it looks
I
great.
mean, because
That one drawing is worth more than any one drawing we've ever done.
I know.
Can we watch that again?
Yeah. I mean, it's only
The
like
inking,
4
the
minutes.
inking part.
Okay.
I want to see him draw. It's
Oh, okay. All right.
like magic.
Well, he's so confident. I mean, obviously he's been doing it his whole life and he's super talented, but it's like
Hey, I'm right here.
there's no hesitation, you know. He's just, he knows what he's doing and he just gets there as quick as possible. His traps may be a little
That's what I was going to say. His traps are.
And look at that cool beard he's got.
Yeah, so he could
Okay, yeah.
fit perfectly on this show. Can you
Yeah.
imagine if he was still alive? And he's grumpy enough, he'd be perfect for the show.
He's got a great beard.
Yeah.
Boy, I heard an amazing story. I wish I could remember who told it to me. The day he got fired from Marvel,
Buscema got fired?
when he went over to DC. Remember, they fired him, and
When did he go- hang on a
it was one of their little, young punk editors that let him go. And I'm not going to tell the story.
They said, "Get your black ass out
I
of
want to
here."
hear about
He
it.
went into the office, and let's just say that little editor had to change his pants afterward.
Mm.
That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, he didn't he didn't take it well. Someone had been for Marvel and everything that he had done for
No
Marvel for
shit, yeah.
decades, and they just cut him loose for no reason.
Yeah.
Did they, was he rehired at that point, or did you just go in there and chew the guy?
DC. This when he started working for DC.
When did he draw it for DC? I can't remember this.
He
When-
did some graphic novels, and I think he did like a Western, and what else did he do for DC?
Who's your go-to guy in the chat that would know this?
Marcus Killigrew. Where's our information on this, Marcus? What years were this, Gary, that he was doing this?
I don't remember. It was, obviously it was later in his career, but
Well, it hadn't been after Wolverine, right?
no warning. They just said, bye, John.
He did a Superman for them.
Yeah.
Why-
Well, you guys wonder why I'm such an advocate for crowdfunding. That's why, because you can work for a company for years like this, and you got no retirement, no 401k,
Right.
no
Right.
disability.
There's no umbrella. You just,
And they just dump you on the street with nothing.
Right.
So it's like these guys, own your own characters, do your own, don't unless you absolutely have to work for a publisher, don't.
You see how he's putting the feathering lines? It's just like whoop 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 whoop,
Yeah.
and they're done.
Like-
Look at this.
yeah. And I know that he's a big, Hal Foster, a big influence in his stuff, but I know he didn't like Sinnott inking him, but I loved like Sinnott and George Klein over him. At
Yeah,
least
yeah.
hero stuff,
I agree.
because it was slicker and it just felt more,
Right.
more appropriate for the subject matter. Now his Conan stuff, you could,
Yeah, I
more-
think that when he
looser.
did stuff that was more illustrative or adventure type stories, I prefer his own inking.
right.
But superhero stories,
Yep.
Joe said it every day.
So
Yep.
why didn't he like those inkers you mentioned?
Because they were too slick.
Oh, okay.
Because he wanted that loose sort of Hal Foster kind of look, but you don't do that on the Avengers. You know what I mean? And
Okay, see, there's a gap between the lines, and then he just goes blip, and then he
Yeah.
moves on.
Yeah.
yeah, right. So they're not coming out of the top of the boot. Yeah, that would drive me nuts. I couldn't do that. But again, if I was sketching and I was on a time, on this show, I might do something like that. Although
I forget where I heard that he was a pretty strong dude. Like he could bench a lot of
he
weight.
was big.
big guy.
He was big.
Did any of you guys meet him?
No, he was at San Diego, and he was at an Artist Alley table, and I went there 3 or 4 times, and he was never there. And then he passed away shortly after that San Diego appearance, so I never got to meet him.
The only one I didn't meet out of all the greats, of the Marvel greats. I met every other one.
Except John.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, he didn't he didn't do like cons and stuff. He wasn't like a guy you'd see at a convention,
Yeah.
So
That was very cool.
That was. I like that. There's more, but wait, there's more. Now we're going to take a look at Sienkiewicz, and
It's Sienkiewicz, by the way.
What did I say?
Sienkiewicz or something.
Yeah, you're not saying it the French way.
The W is like a V.
Is it Moi Sienkiewicz? Moebius Sienkiewicz? So Sienkiewicz is not right. Is that what you're saying? It's Sienkiewicz?
Sienkiewicz.
Sienkiewicz.
I think I'm saying it.
You
right.
don't know what you were just making stuff up.
No, I'm pretty sure that someone explained it once.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at him. I'm pretty sure I.
Past master.
Yeah, so
Sienkiewicz.
teach him. He would say it with confidence. That Aaron's going to say it like that from now on. And
I'm confused. See, it's like whenever we have Koran Kaiser Stone on, I don't know if it's Koran, or Quran. I know it's not Quran because that's like the Muslim thing. So I get confused, Look at that. Jimmy Reyes is still alive and out
Yay, Jimmy.
there. Yeah, we were wondering what happened to Jimmy.
Doing some good work, too. I saw the latest pinup he did, or the cover he was doing, looks fantastic.
Yeah. There you go, Jimmy.
was that a left-handed insult or compliment?
Well, I can't compliment anybody anymore.
No, Jimmy, not you. Not you, Dad. Jimmy.
Poor Dan. Marcus Killigrew, purveyor of all things pop culture knowledge, says John Buscema went to work for DC around the year 2000. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was like, the tail end of his career.
What did he draw over there? I want to know.
Wasn't that Superman that Stan Lee created?
Yeah, he did one of those. Yeah.
I didn't pay any attention to that stuff that Stanley.
You guys remember the Superman Hulk? I think it was his art.
No, that wasn't. I don't
That
think
was
he
early.
did the,
No, you guys are talking about the Bat. No, sorry.
Superman. I mean, Superman versus Hulk. I'm pretty sure Buscema did a story.
That was early 80s, like
Okay.
1980.
But I'm just saying. I'm saying did you guys see he could draw Superman? It was interesting. It was fascinating to see him draw Superman.
I was
Kinda
in
cool.
I was in Terry Austin's studio when he was inking on one of those pages.
I thought,
Oh,
okay.
He Sennett inked the figures, and a bunch of different Marvel artists inked the backgrounds. And Terry had several pages, and he was inking the page that Hulk had torn up a town, and they were showing the aftermath of Hulk walking through a town and tearing it all up. And that's what Terry was inking, like little tiny train cars, upended and, stuff like that.
Every time you said Hulk and Superman, I was thinking Hulk and Batman. I was thinking Garcia Lopez. So you're right.
Right, but he did the second Superman Spider-Man crossover. Buscema drew that.
That's true.
Second
Yeah.
one,
Mhm.
not the first one, the second one.
Yeah.
No, see, there's just weird things happening in the chat that I don't understand. Deb Koth Schnelly says, "Why does Aaron hate Stan Lee?" Where does that come from?
No, Gary hates Stan Lee.
Oh, okay. It's not me, it's Gary.
Yeah, let's get it straight.
Let's see here. Gary inked Da Vinci's.
And he promised me that original, that bastard.
yeah.
I'm still waiting.
Over, man.
Yeah, where is it? He won't return my calls.
Gary got thrown out of the museum. He was in there going, "That's mine. He was supposed to give that to me." Okay. All right. Past Master Dan is bragging that he mowed 2 yards today. Is that like I can lick 30 tigers today? Remember that story? Is like I can mow 2 lawns today.
I thought he was saying some kind of innuendo or something.
No, I don't know. Maybe
Of course, David, you're going to go there.
I was just wondering.
What does that really mean?
Yeah.
Terry Rasco says, I always felt like Terry Austin was the Eddie Van Halen of comics, master of his craft, but keeping his secrets to himself. Gary, you were his. You were his.
He didn't have any secrets. Yeah, Terry didn't have any secrets. He was intuitive. He didn't. I'm very methodical. I have reasons for everything I do. He wasn't like that. He wrote a couple of paragraphs in my inking book about his process, and he talks about that he just kind of goes with it. Whatever he thinks or feels is right, that's what he does. It's not a system. It's not, you need a heavy weight here. And he doesn't do that. It's just all feel.
It's hard to. Was it hard to learn from a guy like that?
I just copied what he was doing. His because it was very consistent. His decisions were very consistent. So like where's the light coming from? You can tell by his line weights where the light was coming from. A lot of inkers don't do that. So those kinds of things I learned from, not his style, but
right.
The foundations for what he was doing.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Jason Moore says,
I see
Buscema,
Go ahead.
Buscema penciled Blood of the Ancestors that Kevin Nolan inked. And
How do I not know this?
I know. I was just like, whoa. A Batman black and white story for DC. Wow, I want to see that.
I've got all those Batman black and whites.
I don't remember seeing that. Yeah, I have a collection of it. I don't remember seeing it.
Buscema inked by Kevin Nolan? Yikes.
I want to see that.
Really awesome.
Yeah.
Unless Kevin respected him too much to go to town on him, then it probably won't be as good.
That's true.
Maybe.
Because that's what you want Kevin Nolan to do. It's like, dude, don't ignore what I drew. Just do your thing. Over the top.
Ignore what I drew.
Yeah, don't pay any attention to the man behind the curtain.
I was just getting a paycheck.
Well, that's what I did. I was talking to David at San Diego. This was years ago, pre-COVID. And David had this, what was it? Did you have a Batman that
Bruce too?
Alex Nino?
Oh, Alex Nino. Oh, yeah. I know.
And I said, oh, that looks really, really cool. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I drew it and gave it to Nino to ink. And I was like, that's genius, because Nino is like, you never know what you're going to get. He's like Rudy Nebres. You get something really, really cool, or you get something really weird. And so I did this zombie piece because, I was talking to David. And I went back to my booth, drew this zombie piece. Exactly.
After talking to David, you went back to your booth and drew and catered the drawing to.
Yeah. Right, because I said I want to get a Nino piece because I had him do something in my book before, and it wasn't really what I wanted him to do. And so I said, okay, I want to do a zombie piece, but I want to make sure he does what I want him to do. So I blocked in, I drew this zombie coming out of the grave and all this kind of stuff, gave it to him and said, hey, ink it. And he just ignored what I drew except the composition. And I got this Nino piece exactly
You still have it?
Yeah, I got it. I got it right here. It's within reach. I'm reaching for it right now, Gary.
And you can probably look at it every day before you get your drawing.
I have not. Oh, there's a Travis. Woohoo!
Wow.
Nice.
So Aaron gets up,
It's
has his
Travis.
coffee, eats his Cheerios, looks at the Nino drawing, and then begins his work.
That's right. Because my work day. Okay, here we go.
Is it Trevi Shetty?
That's right. Travis.
Alrighty, here we go.
Bam! Wow.
Ooh, wow.
Look at that tree. Just the tree alone.
Oh, look at the pencils underneath and how he ignored what I drew.
That's kind of that's a Lopresti hand there in the foreground.
Yeah, but it's
No, he puts those little dippity-doo inks that he does with the brush. The way
like blotches of black.
Yeah.
You know what he did though? I put my name. I signed my name in pencil on there, and he erased it and he signed his name. So I went back. I went back in and put my name on there anyway. But yeah, I mean, look at that. I got exactly what I wanted.
That's very, very cool.
And it was all Nino, you know.
Yeah, after seeing that, I would just say, could you like draw and ink a tree for me in my schedule?
Yeah.
So cool. I should have done that with Nebrays.
Yep. Yeah. Just have Filipino trees.
Yeah. Just kind of do your own tree, Rudy. But anyway, all right. Let's take speaking of somebody else who does like weird stuff that's really cool. Let's take a look at this Sienkiewicz video. Did I pronounce it wrong again? You pronounce it, Dan.
Sienkiewicz.
Sienkiewicz. Sienkiewicz.
Dobrowieczek and Sienkiewicz.
Sienkiewicz. All right. Enlarge this. There we go. Silence, just in case. Here we go.
Oh, it's already.
I know, but look at what he's doing here. He's not really.
He's not
drawing pencils.
Yeah, there's no pencils. It's just,
yeah, he's just got a mark.
Wait a minute. No pencils?
No pencils. Yeah.
He's practicing without a net?
That's him.
He's like knocking in shapes, sort of.
Yeah, just a couple of lines to guide him. Yeah.
Where's your other eye?
Or a dot.
Watch it come
I
together.
think it's going to be, yeah, you just wait. This gets weird in a minute. I mean, technique-wise, it gets
weird already.
Yeah.
That face reminds me of like early Kevin Nolan, where Kevin all his women the same.
Yeah.
It has kind of like a Kyle Baker feel to it right now.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that too. So it's like he's just blocking in something so he can go in there and, you know.
Now he goes into the
now he's China. The great tones.
Yeah.
China.
And she's got the alcoholic nose.
Yeah.
I love the alcoholic nose.
I draw the alcoholic nose all the time.
Yeah, see, Dan and I do it all the time. Man.
Trademark.
Look at that. Blam, blam.
Oh, come on.
We would never do that.
I mean, that's just.
Wait a minute. So you just put a piece of paper up?
Just slapping ink down and praying that it works out.
Yeah.
But you know, his stuff is so loose that he has some leeway.
Yeah, he can get away with it. Yeah.
But he pulls it and it makes those hair.
Oh, the dry brush. Yeah, sheesh. I have a brush like that, but I'm afraid to use it.
We all have brushes like that, and we never use it.
Oh, that's cool. I just used that piece of paper to get that.
Yeah.
Freaking cool, man. Wow, like that.
It's already a Bill Sienkiewicz drawing right now.
Yeah, he could stop right now.
He should have that piece of paper there. He just went over the edge.
Well, that's why he didn't do the eye.
Yeah, because he's going to shade it in.
Oh, now I see.
But he's filling in the blacks on her face with the giant brush.
Yeah.
He just screwed up her nose and he doesn't care.
Yeah, he did. He's just covering it up in black.
The old covered up technique.
Just gave her a goatee.
He hasn't dipped any ink in that brush in like 10 minutes.
Well, dude, how much does a brush that carries a lot of ink?
He is beating it up. Look at that.
Okay, he just the shadowing on the side of the face he did with 2 strokes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Boom, boom, and now he's going to sign it. Oh, why not?
No. Now he's doing what I do.
Yeah, this is a David technique.
Yeah,
well, he's using your Presto pen too.
Yep. Start drawing with it. You start chiseling. See, he just fixed the nose just right there.
Yeah. It looks it looks a lot better just with those little tiny adjustments.
Yep. Well, it's like you go in there with a brush that loose, and it's like you don't even care. It's like, I'll just put a little white out there and fix it up, and then you make white out part of the drawing, so nobody feels like, oh my gosh, look at that one spot of white out where he fixed it. It's like it's part of the process.
Right. Whenever I have a inked piece and I only have like one little whiteout thing on it, it's like I'll go put white out other places where it doesn't need it just to do what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. I do that all the time. Oops. I mean,
and what can he sell? He can probably sell this piece for a couple $100, right? I mean, at least.
What? You saw this for thousands.
Really?
Well, if you were
That much?
if you were to con back in the day, okay, like pre-COVID, I could have got something like this for between 300 and 500 at a show if he did it at a show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that's
Let's
going
see
for
this.
now.
Oh, it looks great. Look at the
Oh,
lips.
look at that.
Oh man.
Kim Jong-ji, Batman.
Now this is something AI can never do. There's all those feel and
Right. I mean, it's that
decisions.
sort of that personal touch
I
that
mean,
an artist
can do a
brings
stroke
to
like
the
that.
work.
All those brush strokes and stuff.
You know how much you'd have to mess around with those tools and those techniques to get confident enough that like you know what's going to happen, so you're not afraid.
Yeah.
Well, it's his style, though. You know what I mean? That he's developed this sort of
Yeah, but when you look at the finished piece, it all comes together
right.
like it was like some kind of master plan.
Yeah.
But he's just slapping ink down.
Yeah, I dig that.
We need to get more ballsy on this show. Like
That's what I was
Speak for yourself there.
Ballsy Bill. Billsy Bond.
No, but I mean, Gary's right. How many years did it take him to develop this style, or approach, however you want to look at it?
Yeah.
And now he's comfortable doing it.
Did you guys like Electra Assassin art?
I like the art. The art
Was that the
art.
one that was the one that Frank Miller wrote and he
Yes.
illustrated?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
I like
Yeah.
the art. Yeah, it was really.
That was so unique at the time, and
Yeah.
still is really.
Yeah.
Druid's Druid is talking about that how fearless he is, and that's my downfall is I'm terrified all the time when I'm inking.
Yeah, me too.
I have a specific picture in my head, and I'm trying to achieve that. He can't have a picture in his head that's that specific. It has to be general.
Yeah.
He can't be that far above us humans. Do you think he has a very specific image in his head, or he's just kind of whatever?
No,
I think
he's letting it speak to him and tell it what to do. So
yeah, exactly. I think he's just kind of playing around with it, and
he went through such a change because he was a Neil Adams clone,
Right.
yeah,
and then he came out of that, and I mean, he changed my way of thinking of comics when I saw what he was doing on the New Mutants, because that was such a huge change. I was like, who is this guy and what am I looking
Was that
at?
before Moon Knight? Because Moon Knight is what really hit me when I saw.
I
his stuff.
didn't see Moon Knight first.
Oh, his
yeah.
Moon
He
Knight
was
stuff.
transitioning from
fantastic.
Neil Adams to
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
In Moon Knight.
I loved his Moon Knight. It was so different. Again, for the time, no one was doing anything like it. He's bringing in these, illustration techniques that weren't, known in comics. They were known in illustration and stuff, and marketing stuff, but it wasn't, or magazine illustration. But man, it just really, I saw that stuff. Said that's so cool.
Well, that covered Moon Knight #1 was very Neil Adamsy, but then you just followed the series and he just kept getting, stranger and stranger and cooler
Yeah.
as he moved through that series.
Yeah, and it was the perfect series for him too, just to because it was sort of almost a weird artsy character.
Well, and no one cared either. It was like a character that was sort of like, he wasn't an A-list character, so you could go in there and do some weird stuff. It's like when Simonson took over Thor. Thor was, who cared about Thor? And then Simonson just starts doing all this weird stuff, and everybody's like, wow, this is suddenly the coolest book on the stand.
Yeah, no kidding. Another thing too is the character was black and white, and that I think that helped a great deal to let him just go to town in with ink.
Yeah, he did a ton.
And then the colorist could just do whatever he could come up with, whatever. But
right.
Studios is asking if we ever seen Sienkiewicz's car advertisement illustrations. No, have you guys? I've not seen it.
No, I'd be interested though.
Well, it's crazy if you look up if you just type in Sienkiewicz, Bill Sienkiewicz art in Google.
It's not like cabbage. It's Kevich. Like Kevin,
Oh my gosh.
Let it go, Deb.
Sienkiewicz.
Sienkiewicz.
You like
Not
Boston. You like Sienkiewicz. What's cabbage here?
It's Sienkiewicz. Now, if you look him up, there's just like a ton of like commercial art type stuff in his Google portfolio, if you want to call it that.
Hey, that one that your cursor was on with the color Electra.
This one?
Yeah, I'm in the background talking on that video.
Does this actually show him doing it, or is
yes.
talking about it?
I just watch it. Watch it real quick.
All right.
Not that one.
That's the one.
No,
the one above it.
The one above it. Go back. Go to the end of the video.
You have to go to the end.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Gary, go.
Go to the very end.
Yeah, it's coming. Just
Okay.
give it a second here. Doesn't hurt to look at, his work one last time here.
Oh, now it's not there.
Of course, it's not there.
Just do a search.
All the other ones are there, but that one isn't.
Just push Bill Sienkiewicz Electra.
I just did. Oh, there we are. Ah!
There it is.
There it is.
There it is, right
purple
there,
one.
right at the bottom.
This one here?
Yes. This
Purple
one's
one.
crazier. This one's even crazier.
Perfect.
Well, let's take a moment, though.
American Express. This is brought to you by
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts
Mm.
for all your delicious treats.
All right.
Go large.
Oh, you guys telling me what to do?
Yeah.
Can't pronounce anybody's name right. Can't pronounce. I can't even pronounce correct. I can't even pronounce that correct. I see smearing it. I do that on accident, and he's doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
I throw my
Well,
art
see,
away
maybe
when I
he
do
did
that.
it on accident, and then so he just wanted to be consistent.
Okay.
You gotta say that when you just do like pretend you did it on purpose when you're doing yours now.
Well, I guess maybe. Come on, Bill, get out of the way. We can't see your artwork.
You really got to make sure you keep your ears clean when you're on these videos. His are fine. I'm saying his are fine. Just a note.
Is this a quick way though to make sure that the the ink's dry? You just kind of like
No, he's creating gray tones. It's like the shadow under the nose.
Exactly.
It's a gray tone.
I know. God.
What is he drawing on?
Inside of a book. Yeah. One of his books.
Do you guys see his Santa Claus book?
No.
Oh, it's good.
Did you like
all this
Stray
stuff you guys
Toasters?
are mentioning? I want to see. I'm going to forget it. Like
No.
the car ads. And I want to see
No, I
the
didn't.
Buscema and Nolan piece. I got to write this stuff down.
That was like too weird for me. Stray Toasters was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Daredevil one? That was pretty good. I thought.
Was it Love?
The Daredevil
No.
toaster.
No, you're talking about the graphic novel,
another Miller story.
Yeah, I have that. I actually liked it so much, Dan. I bought it.
Mm-hmm. I bought it too. Yeah.
Is he drawing? Oh yeah, he was doing Electra. Huh?
Keep watching.
Gosh, I didn't.
Where
see
are
this.
you
It's
at?
Funny.
I'm
I don't
talking.
see this
I'm
coming.
off to the left of him.
Okay, well I got it on silent, so we don't. I figure if you're talking on this show, that's good enough. We don't need to hear you. My dog's going nuts. Oh, what the heck is he doing?
Color. What
Just
is
watch. It's gonna get crazy. Like we would do this and say it's ruined.
this? Yeah.
I know. I'd go, well, you got another book I can sign?
Yeah.
I really jacked this one up.
Yeah. It's gonna trade it.
Please forgive my dog.
He's
Someone
digging
delivering
in.
something.
Was he like coloring with lipstick?
What is that?
I don't know.
It's one of those paint pen things, right?
Yeah.
Looks like
Taskmaster Dan says
bloody.
that Bill smudge a piece.
Yeah. But this is the other thing about I love watching anybody draw because I think it's all magic, and what he does is truly magic.
Yeah.
Because we're just like, oh, this magic trick failed, But no, then all of a sudden you're like, this is one of the best.
Yeah.
Well, this dude,
I
he's
think it's because
obviously
it's
done
not
stuff
realism.
like this before. This isn't the first time he's tried this.
I think just like Kelsey, that he's just keep working at it until he's happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing is with a guy like this, he's not a realistic artist, so there's not so much expression in it. That's why it's fascinating, because you're like, how do you even think about doing that bit there? You know?
Yeah.
It's
David, was this at one of the San Jose cons, and you were sitting right next to him, weren't you?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's where I got that Peter Parker drawing from you. Actually, I should show it.
Please don't.
I knew you were going to say that. So I'm going to go get it right now.
I think I lead the world in an art collection of David's old stuff that he doesn't ever want anybody to see again.
Now, David was going to give this to him, and I actually made him take some money for it. Not a lot, though.
Aaron can't see that laser that's like on the back of his neck.
Already to take me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing about this piece is he's using that color as a base,
Yeah.
as a neutral,
Yeah.
and letting the colors shine through to make the face. Wow, is that freaking cool?
He
I
ran
can't
out of
imagine.
light.
I didn't even thought of
another
even doing
pen.
an illustration with the.
Oh, look at this.
Oh man.
Oh, my God.
It's wild.
How was like anybody even buy one of those? An inch wide whiteout stick.
Oh my gosh. Just brass balls.
They can't
That's
see what
right.
he's doing.
I feel like he covered over half of what he drew.
Yeah, I almost feel like he should have stopped back if he stepped back. But this is still cool. I mean, let's see what happens.
Please stop.
Yeah. That's why it's great to me, because he's offending our sensibilities so much.
Yep.
But it
Yeah,
ends up being a
nails and-
great piece of art.
Instead of nails on a chalkboard, it's whiteout on a chalk on the.
Yeah.
I think he's just trial and erroring it. He's just like, yeah, let's see if this works. Nope, let's try something else. And so
Yeah, but
he's doing layers.
But right, I agree. But he's so familiar with the technique that he's using that he's confident to do that.
Right.
You know, knowing that he'll get something at some point.
Because
that
he's
happy
put
with.
that highlight on the tip of her nose like 6 times already.
Yep.
Because he keeps covering it up.
I could have got a commission. Gosh,
Because he
darn it.
put so much red on the bottom, now it's a flesh color because he smudged so much white, and now it's become a.
Yep.
Yeah, it's flesh.
That's right.
So that's what all that red was in the beginning. It's just an undercolor for the flesh tone.
Underpainting, yeah.
So now he's chiseling in all of his lines that he would do.
Man, I dig this.
Nobody important says even he doesn't know what he's doing. His hand is possessed.
Yeah. He's literally talking to me over and laughing, saying some.
See, there's nobody there. It's like Chuck Schumer telling a demon to get out.
Yeah. You saw that.
What's that? Chuck
There's
Schumer, what?
There's a video of Chuck Schumer in some Senate thing, and
Time for dinner.
he goes to his seat, and he tells something that's there that's really not there to get out of his seat and move, and then he sits down. It's almost like he's telling a demon.
You can see by his hand gestures and body language that he's telling an invisible thing to get out of his seat.
Yeah,
It's really weird.
Well, okay. Yeah, well, Schumer's crazy. We all know that. And he could also be possessed. I'm not against that either. Okay.
Well, it's coming together. It's still a mess, but it's better than it was 5 minutes ago.
David, do you remember if anybody was watching him do this, or were you guys just sitting there?
It was about the cameraman, me.
Well, obviously the cameraman, but I mean the guy that he's doing the piece for.
Yeah, he was right on the other side of the table.
Okay. Because I wonder if maybe he had like less pressure because the guy wasn't standing there, so he was just.
No, he was totally right there.
This is really becoming something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I don't like every stroke that he does. Sometimes I go, you ruined it. Then he comes back and kind of fixes it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what you do sometimes when you're doing art. It's kind of like clay. You put a little piece on, you take a little piece off.
Well, you know what's interesting is that if you talk to a painter, right, and we'll consider this a painting just for the sake of argument here, that you sit there and if you do a painting yourself, it's like you just meander all over the place. You're trying to figure stuff out. It's not working. You go over and repaint, and blah blah blah, right? And then finally you come out with something you're happy with. And then you think, if I only knew what I was doing, this would be so much better. Then you talk to painters, right? You talk to other painters, and they tell you the same thing.
Yeah, if I only knew what I was doing, this would be a masterpiece.
Yeah, well, no, but seriously, it's like if there was some technique or some approach that I knew how, but then you talk to guys, like I talked to Joe Jusko and other guys, like, man, 70% of the time I'm painting, I think it's a disaster, right? And then you just work it until it becomes together. And
Did you see what he just did? He started scratching at it like he made a mistake. It was like, really?
Yeah, like where did you tell? This is crazy. I could have got it. This show, I remember the show specifically now because I remember, David, you were sitting right next to him. And I was like, I could have got a commission from the show and I didn't do it. And he was still like somewhat affordable.
Yeah.
Like this, you could get something for like $300.
This is like right after he had already inked my cover, and we were talking about doing and doing some more, and he was like wanting to do some more. Look at that.
Even his signature is weird.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I really appreciate that piece is to see him do it and how many layers there are. You imagine a guy like, come back in a half an hour. He would have missed, the process, and that's what makes it magical.
It's like the difference between like Bill Sienkiewicz doing that and say like Alex Ross. Alex Ross, his work is in the drawing, not the painting.
Right. I was just watching him paint a Green Goblin thing. There was a video on it, and it was it didn't even look fun to me because it was so figured out.
Yeah.
He was simply going through steps to get to this wonderful end product, but it was like what Sienkiewicz is doing here is just like so creative and so off the cuff.
His stuff looks like therapy is getting worked out.
Yeah.
Well, I think John Malin kind of nailed it here with his assessment of the art.
Oh, Malin's in the chat. What did he say? Where is he? Dan, help me out here.
It says it's an orgy of mistakes.
Looks like he drew it with his foot. Wow, there's John Malin's commentary. Okay, this is the Santa Claus book by Sienkiewicz.
Really interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow,
I bought this. It's really cool. It's goofy. Here's an inside spread in here. It's very Sienkiewicz-y, but it's Santa Claus, and I love Santa. Here we go.
Oh, that's cool, man.
So that cover didn't look that much like Bill's. This is him 100%.
Yeah, I mean, look at the.
Well, I think they both look like Bill's. I mean, that's
really.
Well, the cover was a little bit more refined, a little more commercial looking.
Yeah, that's definitely Bill.
This is crazy here, but it's like, look at that fireplace thing, the mantle. I mean, it's all jacked up, and it's just like
that's cartoony. That's our
I love it.
Kaiser would draw it that way, sort of.
Yeah, he probably would. Where's Kaiser Stone when you need him? I still like Plug's Santa Claus book better than this because it's more what we expect from comic illustration, graphic novel. This is an illustrated book. It's not a graphic novel, but I do recommend it. It is cool. It's got like little vignettes and spot illustration, color illustrations all through it, and they're all watercolor like this. And but where do you get to a point, I guess, where you feel like I'm just going to get really impressionistic and just get weird, and I don't care what anybody thinks. And then at some point, people start to accept it, and then you're doing it all the time, and people think you're a genius.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, I'm just curious. A guy like him, who, like you said, was such a Neil Adams clone when he started, and then, which is very traditional in terms of comic book art, and then evolves into something like this is just crazy. How far he went, but it's worked out for him, obviously. I mean, it's just amazing what you can get away with.
That's funny.
You know what though? It's a lot harder to do than you think when you.
No, it is.
Yeah, I mean,
try to do
his drawing,
I mean,
his craftsmanship is very solid, and he makes great color choices.
Well, his stuff is designed. That's the black and white stuff. That's where he puts all this, arrange the figures, the darks and lights, the way he's balancing the compositions.
I would love to see him ink this.
And the combination with his line work, the textures, and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Look at John Malin. He loves splatter. This would be the thing that he would really. I think he would gravitate to this.
It's all splatter. Yeah.
So
all the great
one of his favorites. So.
John's pulling his hair out right now. This is how I would like Wraith of God to look. Just kind of really grungy and loose like this. And I just can't bring myself to this.
Have you tried, Aaron? Have you tried just doing like one illustration where you don't care how it turns out, just to see what happens?
Yeah, every week on this show.
No, of Wraith, just in this style. Just go.
I haven't done any interior pages yet for this book. I should just, I shouldn't I just go for it, right? And see.
Well, you know what you got to do. Did you ever see those videos?
Then you know what? I don't use it.
What you do is ever see those videos where they do the 10-second drawing and then the 1 minute drawing and then the 5 minute drawing? Like try to draw something.
Oh yeah,
in 30,
exactly.
30 seconds, and then you have to learn to economize. Every stroke means everything, and so you got to nail it.
Well, we used to do that like in like art classes or painting classes I took. It was just like, you just got to knock in the figure in 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, gesture drawing.
Well,
yeah.
it looks like he has his blacks very well thought out.
Yes.
And then the rest of it is, him watching a movie while he's doing.
Well, no, but you're right. It's like the figure work is not. It's off a little bit. But the gesture is there and the power is there, and that's what's important, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not that and I would be too hung up on that shoulder, that right knee of
the deltoid is not
exactly.
aligned with the.
That's exactly what I would be doing, and that's what keeps me from doing like really wild stuff like this. Is that kind of built in? That doesn't look right. I can't do it like that. Instead of just going for it.
He also doesn't trip up. Like if we were to do this exact same pose, we would.
Now, hang on a second. Sam Keith is cool though. John gives Sam, and I like Sam Keith a lot too, and he's weird. So anyway, go ahead.
We would get caught up when drawing Wolverine's eyes in there, like how John Byrne did it or something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And mm-hmm. all the details of the suit and this. And he just says, "Oh, what are the most important things you need to see?" You know what I mean? And it works.
Yeah, and I don't know that I can ever bring myself to get to that stage where I can just do that. I mean, I can see it and I can think through it, but I can't bring myself to do it.
Now,
yeah, remember the more you look at this figure, it's mostly black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when Frege was bringing up his guy, Dennis Cowan, last night, this is what I think Dennis Cowan thinks he's doing.
Oh yeah, you were ripping on Cowan in the chat. Now hang on, Wolverine here. Wolverine,
in his way.
No, Wolverine doesn't agree. He says, "Sorry, I can't agree. That's not all that's important." I can't remember what I just said was all important, but
yeah, well, sometimes.
Let's see another piece from Sienkiewicz's.
Yeah, show another piece.
I wanted to show this because it kind of goes what we were talking about earlier. Hang on a second. I got to pull it up.
I love that he did this Iron Fist, where he's kind of like whispering at the camera and he's pointing, telling. There was an old Marvel ad that he did, and it was so cool. I drew that thing over and over and over. It was really cool. You should look that up.
Well, I'm just keep going. I just want to show a couple. I'm grabbing a couple images and then I'll be ready. Dan, tell us about your childhood.
I went to
I'm
school with
one of 8
Wilson.
kids.
Wow.
So that's a good start,
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, here we go. All right, so check this out. We look at his Moon Knight cover, right, for number 1. That's Neil Adams.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Totally.
That's Moon Knight number 1. Okay, so this is what he was doing pretty regularly at Marvel. I mean, this guy right here. I mean, look at these faces. That's Neil Adams. This whole the inking on the chest here. Okay.
Yep.
And he worked at Continuity, didn't he? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, a little bit.
So he went through Continuity first. So he had that sort of Neil influence. Okay.
He did a Fantastic Four too.
He what?
He did a Fantastic Four. I think he did a few books on Fantastic Four in his early career.
Like in his Neil Adams phase?
Well, he had what's his name, ink over him, so it kind of had a Kirby thing going on.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right. So then he kind of starts doing stuff like this, where you're just like, whoa, that composition's really cool, and it's still sort of structurally what you would see in a comic book, or you'd expect to see, but it's a little bit different, right? You're starting to. There's some John Malin splatter down there.
I wonder if he had to fight to get them not to color it.
That's a good question.
I bet he did.
I bet
I bet you they had a fit about having the Moon Knight being shrunk down and pushed over to the right.
Yeah, and all that black in the background.
They made some serious concessions for him.
Yeah.
I tell you, this isn't necessarily John Malin hates splatter, but that's John Malin design. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
The composition and stuff like that.
That's right. So Malin's closer to Sienkiewicz than he knows.
Exactly.
And then we get to this, right?
Oh,
That's
that doesn't even look like him. That almost came off as like a Beasley.
Yeah. I think this is. I didn't know that was Sienkiewicz.
Wow.
That's a hell of a graduation from
from Neil Adams to this, or the Wolverine, or
Huh?
Look how big his fists are.
Yeah. It's trying to show extreme foreshortening.
It looks like he's wearing those
But you
toy
don't do it.
Hulk fists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously I don't know him. I've talked to him a couple times, but it's like you almost get the feeling that he's sort of like trying to. He's not even trying to get it right necessarily in terms of what we would consider anatomically correct and all this kind of stuff.
That's secondary to him.
I think
the
main thing he wanted to draw was those two pharaohs on the left and right of him.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing to keep in mind too with when you're looking at a piece of art like this, when you're drawing this on a piece of paper, the larger that piece of paper is, the less odd that foreshortening looks to you. It's only when you shrink it down that it gets weirder. But if you're, as an artist, and he's drawing pretty large, this would actually look kind of correct to him.
Yeah.
Well, I just think that when you get to a point
like zoom in on it, go like magnify it if you can, real close.
Let me see if it will. Where the heck is that thing? Oh, there it is. Okay. I don't know if it's how good the scan is.
It's pretty good.
No, they're still pretty big.
Yeah, the closer you get, though, I'm saying if you're looking at this piece of paper on a big drawing table, it'll start to look right.
Yeah, David's right. Those pharaohs, King Tut, are perfect.
Yeah.
One on the left is better.
But do you think that he gets to a point where he's looking for ways to wonk it up?
Oh yeah,
as part of his
style.
Yeah. So
there's a little bit of Drew Struzan in this piece too.
Yeah, there kind of is, isn't there? All right, so here's this one. We all know this one. I didn't expect to get off on a Sienkiewicz tangent, but it's kind of fun. All right, so check this one out. We all know this piece, but it always stood out to me as when you're talking about, wonking something up.
I love that cover.
Yeah, so do I. But
now this is one I didn't love actually.
Really?
I couldn't get past the squared out shoulders. I know I like when people push that stuff, but
that's what I was thinking.
No, that's why I liked it, because it shocked me so much. I was just like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Look how long his arms are.
Well, it's like when you start weirding stuff up like this, it's like you can push it as far as you want, and you've already, he's got a coat hanger for shoulders, so what the heck doesn't matter how long his arms are.
Yeah.
Batman's like making humping gestures.
Look at Robin. It's like he's pretending like he's walking fast in a crosswalk.
Maybe Batman's like those fumes there are kind of getting him real high, and then
it's like a
so this is sort of an expression of that of his experience right now.
Exactly. Look at that.
Zoom in a little closer, can you? Because I don't think
it's going to break up small
on their laptops. They can't
have a
really
great
see
list of artists that worked on this book.
Look at Batman's abs. Dang.
Yeah.
those are like Bisley abs, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I love Art Adams' page because he did Killer Croc, if you remember in those.
Well, it had Killer Croc, and it had what was it? What was that spider character? Oh, I forgot. But it had most of the Rogues Gallery. It had the Riddler was in it.
I just remember that close-up of Killer Croc smiling. That's what I remember from the Arthur Adams stuff.
Yeah. I had a page from this, and I had to sell it.
Oh, dog. From Arthur Adams or from somebody else?
From Arthur Adams. From the story in there, yeah.
A lot of these guys in here were pinups. So Wrightson was a pinup, I think, and Ken Stacy, I think, was a pinup.
Mike Grell did a really cool one.
Yeah, I've got this book over there. I haven't looked at it in a while, though. But I always remember this cover as just being just the funky shoulders and everything.
Did you guys like his shadow stuff? I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. All those covers he did was that...
he did the interiors as well.
He did interiors.
Covers and interiors. They were both great.
All right, hang on a second. I'm going to look this up.
Well, Aaron's got to see it.
I do. Well, I know which ones you're talking about. I didn't know he did the inside.
This is a show don't tell thing here.
Well, it's like Stray Toasters. I didn't like it, but I still bought it.
I thought his work was good for the Shadow, because I think the Shadow's a tough character to kind of get right, and his kind of weird, funky, distorted mirror type of art was kind of cool for it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I guess Helfer wrote that, didn't he? I was thinking it was. Didn't Chaikin did the miniseries, but I thought Chaikin wrote it and then maybe Sienkiewicz did the artwork. But that's not the case, is it?
I don't know who wrote it.
Well, I'm looking at the cover right now. I'll share it with you guys. It says Andy Helfer on it.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, yeah,
that was nice.
I don't know why Dynamite's down here, because this was the DC book. Maybe they reprinted it or something.
Probably. Maybe that's a very cool shadow.
That is a cool image.
Yeah.
Mail-in for $4.99. Thanks, John. Batman is a window. Cape are curtains. Bill sucks, but he's smart like me. Okay, well.
Alrighty.
Wait a minute. You didn't just say wait a minute. Did you just say he sucks and is smart like me? Or are you just saying he sucks, period, and he's smart like you?
Yeah, it depends on how. Yeah, it depends on pause.
Make sure there's a period in there.
We're clear on that one, because.
Yeah, show me another shadow cover. That was a good one. There was one where he's fighting over in the midair. That was awesome.
There's some. Is this an interior or what is this? There's all sorts of. groovy shadow stuff that he did. Oh my goodness. Could have got that at a show. I'll share this in a minute. I'm not just like going to keep it all to myself here, but oh, you guys should see this stuff I'm looking at right now.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
It's so awesome.
Just describe it to us.
Well,
What do you see?
It's very shadowy.
I see colors.
It's very
Why?
impressionistic. It's something that I know like John Malin would hate.
It's very shadowy.
Wow.
That was
So
okay.
that's for mature readers. There's a lot of splatter on that too.
Yeah, see, that's mostly black. It's just like a few highlights.
Yeah.
I like how he did the
Let me
lights.
see if I can find the one I'm talking about, because I thought it was pretty darn cool.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, you're fired.
Jeez.
You
Yeah, it
fight.
looked like he knocked that one out in an afternoon.
Now you just look at that sketch. I think that's cool.
Okay.
That's cool. I
That
think
is
that's
very
cool.
cool.
I especially like that splatter up here at the top.
Look at those 1911s. There's no detail, but we know they're 1911s because he got the shape right, and he just has a couple little white highlights. Man,
He's a hard character to draw, especially that hat.
Yep.
Mm.
Hats are tough. They're kind of weird.
Yeah.
This one I really like. This is obviously well, I'm not going to say obviously, but it appears to be a convention sketch, but it's still really cool.
Wow. That's cool.
Look at that blood splatter down there. That's oh my God. Now, see, I'd like to see. Did you think he did the this black area up here? Is that dry brush, or do he use his thumb like Art Taber uses his thumb?
Probably. Yeah.
well, we saw him. You know, he likes to smear.
Yeah, that's right. He likes to finger paint. So
I'm gonna rip that off. That's a cool idea.
I know.
But I'd actually put a gun like where he's looking, pointing
Yeah.
in that direction.
Yeah.
So as if he just shot somebody and then the blood splatter on him.
Yep. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like that. You should be a professional artist, David.
Yeah, one day.
Ideas like that. Look at this.
Oh, that was what I was going to
I
show.
like- yeah, that's cool. I saw that one in person. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Is that Trump?
Oh, that's
No,
funny.
this is pre.
Right here?
Yeah.
Might be. It's 1987.
Yeah,
Wait, where is it?
right there. You can't see it.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Is that Madonna?
That's what I was thinking. Trump and Madonna.
But aren't those like editors? Some of those people in there editors.
I don't know.
or something like that?
Could be.
Probably. Yeah, that's I just like spending all the time looking at the caricatures. The painting of the shadow is amazing.
You know what's cool on this is okay. It's expressionistic, but the hat is realistic. Like the rendering of it, you can feel the feather, kind of the whatever that
Yeah.
material is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a weird animated style and a weird.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I was going to say. It's stylized.
but
It's
can you
not
imagine
realistic at all.
could you imagine an animated show in this style? You know, of like
They
the shadow?
almost did it in Into the Spider-Verse with his
Yeah,
Kingpin. They used his Kingpin design.
that's what they did. You're absolutely right.
Aaron, share my screen. Okay, there it is. Yeah, this is the one I thought really was cool. I mean, he's fighting with this guy, in midair, and guns blazing away.
Is that a dude or a chick?
That's a little bit kind of chaotic for me to read at first.
Yeah, it took me a while to.
Yeah, well, you
was
got to see
fine.
it, larger. I mean, when well, that's a little blurry too, but he's fighting with this kind of mental patient.
Man, you hyped this up so much now. I'm just like, meh.
Well, I think it's
Come on,
fantastic.
man. You got a brain.
The light is coming. This light source is the Uzi going off. I think that's so awesome, man. And it's a kind of a crummy up copy of it too, but
I love the gun fire.
yep.
Oh, that's a complicated drawing.
Yep. What do you think of this one? This is different.
Yeah.
Not one of my favorites, but it's doesn't that feel kind of Bob Peakish? Is that
Yes, very much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was bringing in, he was bringing in illustrative influences and that weren't necessarily,
Yeah, I remember this one.
You wouldn't see it in the comics normally.
Look, he's got porn in there. Mm-hmm. This again, that background is very like Bob Peak-esque.
Yep.
Yeah.
Funky. Creative. I mean, you can't say it's not creative. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, enough of this guy.
Well, I tell you, the funny thing about doing an episode like this, where we're actually looking at other artists draw instead of us, it kind of gave me a little kick in the butt here. I kind of get some inspiration out of this.
Yep. Definitely.
So, anyway, guys, we're at 10 after 4, so we're going to wrap this thing up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for your participation in the chat. We absolutely cannot do it without you guys. And next week, we'll return probably to our regular format where we'll draw something now inspired by the weird art of Bill Sienkiewicz.
We should do a concept. Now I'm saying it wrong.
Mr. Correct all.
Pronunciation mark.
We should do a Sienkiewicz. We should do a Sienkiewicz episode.
And just kind of force us to get weird. I'm on. I like it. Let's do it. Let's do a Sienkiewicz episode next week and just get weird with it.
The chat is asking for a beef. We don't have time. I'll do 2 next week.
Well, we got time for your beef, Gary.
Yeah, no.
I'll do it next week. We're at
2 next week.
Okay, all right. 2 beefs next week, and we're gonna get weird with.
We're gonna get plastered and then draw Sienkiewicz.
That's right. Do some Sienkiewicz stuff. The weirder, the better. So you don't want to miss that. What is today? Wednesday. All right, everybody. Graham Nolan's landing party is at less than an hour away, so tune in for that over on Graham's channel. Have a great rest of your week. Check out Aaron Live Sunday, and then of course the whole thing starts over again with Comicsgate Kings and the whole programming schedule. So thank you all for joining us. You've been watching Graybeard Studio. We'll see you right here next week. See you guys.